Good evening.
Good evening.
I'd like to call the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners September 19, 2016 meeting to order. At this time, we'll have our invocation and pledge of allegiance, and I'd like to call on Commissioner Kenneth Edge.
Would you stand, please, as we honor God and country? Most gracious and loving God, we thank you for our many blessings. We thank you for the beauty and culture and history that surrounds us here in Cumberland County. Thank you that we live in a world where we are free and don't have to live in fear. We thank you for family and friends where many walk alone. We continue to face never-ending challenges and many opportunities in our respective roles as commissioners. Help us in our efforts as we make decisions that affect the citizens we serve. Help us to have a vision of what is right. Give us wisdom to understand and the courage and strength for the task at hand. And always we pray for the men and women that are serving in foreign places. Keep them safe and watch over their families as they protect our freedom. Help us to honor and serve you through our service to others. In the name of the great Creator of life and beauty, we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Edge. At the beginning of our third Monday meeting, we always reserve 15 minutes to hear from the public. At this time, I will open that public comment period and ask the clerk if there are any speakers.
There are no speakers.
There are no speakers, so we'll not hear from the public tonight then. So I'll close the public comment period. Item 1, Ms. Cannon.
Approval of the agenda, no changes at this time.
Okay.
We approve the agendas.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Unanimous.
Okay, thank you. Item 2.
Is the consent agenda.
Okay, do anybody want to pull anything off the consent agenda tonight? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second. Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Unanimous.
Okay,
Item number 3, Mr. Chairman, is our public hearings.
Okay.
We'll first start with our uncontested rezoning case, case P16-27.
Yes, ma'am. The first case, P1627, is rezoning R6A to ONIP. There was no opposition. It met all the plans, so the planning board recommended approval.
okay, at this time I'll open the public hearing. Are there any speakers?
There are no speakers.
No speakers, I'll close the public hearing. Board, what is your pleasure?
Okay, ready for motion?
First motion.
All right. I move that we find the request for rezoning consistent with the 2030 Growth Vision Plan and any other applicable land use plan, reasonable and in the public interest for the reasons stated in the recommendations of the planning staff included in the agenda package, and as reflected in the minutes of the planning board's consideration of this case, which minutes are to be fully incorporated herein by reference.
Okay. Is there a okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Unanimous.
Okay, second motion.
I move to approve the rezoning for O and I planned office and institutional as recommended by the planning staff included in the agenda, the package, and is reflected in the minutes of the planning board's consideration of this case, which minutes are to be fully incorporated herein by reference.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor?
Unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, also under item 3, under our public hearings, we have 3 minimum housing code enforcement cases, and I'll ask Mr. Walters to review each case with us. Our first case is MH 1102-2015.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, our first case tonight is located at 3063 Smith Road. It's an abandoned trailer. Most of the siding from the mobile home has been removed, and there's other debris on the property. We're seeking an order for demolition.
Okay, this time I'll open the public hearing. Madam Clerk, are there any speakers?
I'm sorry, there are no
No
speakers.
speakers, I'll close the public hearing. I'll ask for a motion from the board.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt the order of the, and report of the minimum housing inspector as the true facts in this case, and to order the property owner to remove or demolish the dwelling within 30 days, and to order the inspector to remove or demolish the dwelling if the owner fails to do so, impose a lien on the real property for the cost of such action, and to direct the clerk to incorporate the foregoing findings and orders in an ordinance certified by the chairman and record the same in the register of deeds.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Moved and seconded, is there any discussion? All in favor?
Unanimous.
3C is minimum housing case 1391-2016.
This case is located at 2519 Penny Drive. The structure is dilapidated and unsecure. You can see the overgrowth. Inside, there's a ridiculous amount of trash and debris. We're seeking an order to demolish this structure.
Okay, at this time I'll open the public hearing. Are there any speakers?
There are no speakers.
Okay, I'll close the public hearing. Is somebody ready with that motion? It's kind of tough to
All
flip
right,
to.
I'll do
it. Okay.
I move that we adopt the order and report of the minimum housing inspector as the true facts in this case, and to order the property owner to remove or demolish the dwelling within 30 days. To order the inspector to remove or demolish the dwelling if the owner fails to do so, impose a lien on the real property for the cost of such action. And to direct the clerk to incorporate the foregoing findings and orders in an ordinance certified by the chairman and record the same in the register of deeds.
Okay, is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Unanimous.
Okay.
Item 3D is minimum housing case 1476-2016.
This property is located at 1916 Fennel Road. It's an abandoned structure. Most of the roof, as you can see, is gone from the structure. And we're seeking an order to demolish the structure.
Okay, this time I'll open the public hearing. Any speakers?
There are no speakers.
No speakers, I'll close the public hearing. Is there, anybody have a motion ready?
I'll do it.
The same one.
I move that we adopt the order and report of the minimum housing inspector as the true facts in this case, and to order the property owner to remove or demolish the dwelling within 30 days. And to order the inspector to remove or demolish the dwelling if the owner fails to do so, and impose a lien on the real property for the cost of such action. And to direct the clerk to incorporate the foregoing findings and orders in an ordinance certified by the chairman and record the same in the register of deeds.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All in favor?
Unanimous.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, item 3E is another public hearing on the Southeast Cumberland Land Use Plan. And before we open up the public hearing, I'd like to recognize Mr. Lloyd so that his staff could review this recommended plan with the Board of Commissioners.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Within the last year, we had our entire comprehensive planning section retire. 2 retired and 1 moved back to where their hometown is. So I have 3 new staff members to introduce you to. The plan was 90% complete when they were hired on. And lucky for us, it's a stable area, Cedar Creek area, where we don't see a lot of growth. So it was a perfect plan for them to cut their teeth on. So I'd like to introduce them as our planner two, Jennifer Openlander and Alexandria Voynier. And then Trey Smith is the section chief, and he'll be presenting the plan tonight.
Okay. Welcome to all of you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good evening, Chairman,
evening.
Commissioners. I'm here tonight to ask that you hold a public hearing and consider adoption of the Southeast Area Land Use Plan. This was prioritized as the 12th area to receive detailed planning by the county staff. Okay. The plan consists of data and analysis of existing conditions, public participation, goals, objectives, and recommendations, as well as a proposed future land use map. The area is generally described as in the southeast portion of the county and bordered on the north by Highway 210 South, on the south by Bladen County, on the east by the South River, and on the west by the Cape Fear River. The southeast area is predominantly rural, with limited residential and commercial development, located in the northwestern portion of the area. And I'm going to show a few slides and highlight some of the goals and objectives and recommendations of the plan. I guess I'm clicking this way. All right, the area is in the, if you look, is in the bottom right-hand corner. It's the southeast Cumberland area. Some of the goals. The farmland goal is protect and preserve farmland while maintaining a healthy and thriving farming community. Residential goal, provide for residential development that protects and maintains the rural character, residential character. This can be accomplished through the use of density developments. Commercial goal, provide commercial development that meets the needs of the immediate area. Harmonious with the surrounding area, preserves the natural environment, and is concentrated in nodes. Transportation goal, provide for safe, adequate, and multimodal transportation system. This can be accomplished through the increased popularity of the CTS.
Excuse me, what's the node? I just don't know.
Nodes, areas of concentration of a commercial area, just concentrated areas of commercial areas, say around major intersections and things of that nature.
Thank you.
Community facilities and service goal, provide and support community facilities and services that enhance the quality of life. I'm sorry? Yes, sir.
Quick question, back to the transportation goal. For those who don't understand, explain what the CTS is, CTI.
Cumberland Transportation System.
Okay, let me ask you this. In regards to improving the transit system for the area, and this is just out of curiosity, have there been any talk about working with the city of Fayetteville as far as expanding the transit system with them?
I'm not aware at the moment, sir, but I can find out for you.
I sure would appreciate it.
I absolutely will do it. If Mr. Lloyd would want to speak.
That may be in the future. We see the state, I know the assistant manager, Tracy Jackson, has worked with us, but in the future, we'll probably see more of a regional approach to this transportation system. Right now, we're just explaining the popularity. In the future, we may explore ways to work with FAST to get out further.
Now, is
We'll
this-
have to see.
Now, help me to understand as well as the listening audience, this transit system that you have going on now, this is by appointment, right? You call?
Yes, sir.
You call 24 hours in advance?
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no problem at all. Number 7, open space recreational goal, provide a variety of active and passive park and recreational facilities that serve all ages of the citizenry, enhance the quality of life, and protects and preserves open space and environmentally sensitive areas. Some of the other recommendations, again, this is not all inclusive, just a kind of hitting the highlights, is recreational facility in the study area, improve and maintain access roads to other counties and nearby towns, entrance corridor improvements, and broadband and internet service. Some additional ones are create water service district to provide water to the northwestern portion of the study area, improve county container sites, and require any subdivisions over 7 lots built in the area to be developed as a conservation subdivision or a density development, conditional use development. If you can see, there's some diagrams. A conservation subdivision uses smaller lots to minimize the amount of land actually developed and leaves a larger area of open space and helps maintain a rural character of the area. if you're looking at, this is the proposed land use map. If you look, the vast majority of the southeast area in the proposed map is farmland. That's the brownish area. There's a lot of proposed open space area. The majority of that is low wetlands, areas that are not available to be developed. And there's a small area up in the top that you see in the northwest corner that you see is industrial, very small portion. There's, as you notice on the next slide, there's very little water, just that tiny little blue section up in the northwest corner. And without water sewer development, options are limited. I also wanted to take the time to, there were no complaints or calls to our office that I'm aware of. At the August 16th Planning Board meeting, the Planning Board unanimously recommended approval of the plan. We have a lady in the audience I'd like to recognize that, whether she wants to speak or not, Ms. Vicki Mullins. She was a part of the committee that helped with drafting this plan. I'd just like to recognize her. And if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them for you, or do my best anyway.
Any questions for Trey at this time?
There was just one thing. Most of the 5,000 people, there were 5,000 people approximately who live in this area.
Okay.
5,000 citizens. And most of them live in that area up to the top and the west.
Right.
It was interesting to me that the recommendations wanted a bridge, a new bridge and a 4-lane highway and
one of them,
and new fire stations and all these things that the area can't maintain. You don't have the density.
yes, ma'am. There's a lot of these plans include maybe sometimes unattainable goals, but they were shown as desires of the area residents. And we included those. Some of those maybe just a longer period of time. It just kind of reflects some of the maybe even potentially long-term desires the residents had in the area for economic growth or types of land uses.
I forgot to mention during my introduction that with this new staff, we're going to be seeing some changes in these plans, specifically where they're going to be more like strategic plans, in that in the future, our recommendations, we will try to have a timeline when we could see that attainable and some funding sources, grant sources.
Okay.
So because, as you know, most plans, regardless of how rural it is, they want sidewalks, they want more access to all the urban amenities, but yet they don't want to be urban. So in the future, our recommendations will include possibly timelines, more timelines and funding sources for those.
Because they don't want to be annexed either. I mean, well, I didn't mean to say that out loud.
Any additional questions?
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, at this time, I'll open the public hearing. Madam Clerk, will you speak?
There are no speakers.
No speakers, I'll close the public hearing. The planning board recommendation is to approve the plan and move it forward to the Board of Commissioners for the...
We need a vote to approve it.
We are the approval, okay, so that is the approval, okay. So, is there a motion to approve?
So moved, sir.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Yes.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Unanimous.
Okay.
Item 3F, Mr. Chairman, is our final public hearing for the evening, and this one's on the Community Development Program Year 2015 Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, better known as the CAPER. And I'd like to ask Ms. Sylvie McLean, the Department Head of Community Development, to come and give us a brief overview.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We are pleased to present to you this afternoon the 2015 Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report. As you know, every 5 years, community development prepares a consolidated plan, which basically describe the needs and the goals that we plan to address during the 5-year period. This year, our 2015 CAPER represents the first report of the 2015-2019 con plan that was approved by the board last year. In addition, this is the first year that this plan actually was done or will be done electronically on the federal system that HUD has required us to do through the Econ Suite process. And this is also considered as the IDIS system. This year, our 2015 CAPER covers the period of July 1, 2015 through June 30th. The Community Development Cumberland County Entitlement Program, which covers two particular programs, the entitlement programs, CDBG, which is Community Development Block Grant Program, and the Home Partnership Program. This year, the main achievement that we actually are going to report on this year consists of some of our major programs that we dealt with this year in housing, affordable housing, and homeless services and community development programs. Some of our major accomplishments, of course, consist of the Ashton Woods transitional housing programs, where we were able to provide the renovation of 20 units, increase in affordable housing, and also we provided assistance to homeowners and to investor housing. As a part of some of our major accomplishments, we also provided assistance with the demolition of a unit that also was able to provide affordable housing on the Chapel Hill Road affordable housing site. As you see here, this is two pictures, of two of our rehabilitation properties, to where two of our homeowners wanted to give a testimony of where we actually provided them assistance. Another one of our goals that we actually had a success on was with our homeless programs, which we provided assistance through some of our subrecipients with the ESG programs, the rapid rehousing, to where we were able to assist families with essential housing, and through the with the rapid rehousing and through the homeless prevention. That is called the Essential Housing and Homeless Services for the homeless, and we were able to provide that assistance through our subrecipient that we actually have a contract with SEED and with Salvation Army. As a part of our final, some of our final slides here, through our programs, and this here gives you an overall view of all of the funding that we actually do have in our program. The CAPER that you have before you, that you actually receive, gives you a snapshot mainly of our CDBG and of our home program, but we wanted to also give you an overall view of all of the funds that actually come in through community development that covers the CDBG funding. This particular slide here gives you an overall view of all of the funding that comes in through CDBG that covers all of the programs, not only just housing, but that covers economic development, housing, public facilities, and public services. And the funding that you see before you is not only just for the expenditures, but also for the allocation. And as you see, the amounts are large. However, this is for multi-year grants. We are able to, for CDBG, the funding do not expire after 1 year. Our funds are able to carry over the periods of several years. So we are able to roll over any funds that we have left at year end into the upcoming year. And this particular year, we're able to roll forward at somewhere in the vicinity of about $500,000 into this year, that we're able to use those funds in the housing range for this year. For the home program, we're able to do the exact same thing. We're able to roll forward this year in the vicinity between around $600,000 of our home funds into this program year. For our COC program, those fundings, we're able to what the 3 programs you see before you are considered multi-year programs, and those funds are able to roll forward. The grants are considered a 1-year grant. However, the COC grants are not on a specific year. Those years are considered scattered. And the last slide here, as it relates to the funding, are considered our non-federal funds. And we have several here. We have some state funding, local funding, our ESG funding, which is the state funding, and I'm starting from the end, our local funding, which is considered our match funds from the state for the PATH program, which is an annual allocation. And then for the PATH program, which is state funding, which also actually is a federal program. Those two programs there are specifically designed for our homeless programs. And then our last program, which of course we haven't completely initiated yet, is our Homeless Initiative Fund program. Those funds are set aside specifically for services that will be designated once that particular program has been fully initiated between the city and county. So overall, the accomplishments and the expenditures that we have completed this year has been, we have expended in the vicinity of $2.2 million this year, and we have been successful in providing decent and affordable housing for low moderate income families, and we've been successful in providing suitable living, a living environment for individuals in our area. We have not been successful in creating economic opportunities, mainly because of the economy, and we have not fully recovered yet. However, we do see that there is opportunities to where we're going to look forward to in the future in making some programmatic changes to our program, to where hopefully we are able to make some changes to provide better assistance to some of our clients, because we have seen that when it comes to providing housing assistance to some clients, there has been some difficulties in those areas. So we have recognized that there are some areas what we do see we can make some improvements, and we are going to be working in those areas to make those improvements. Any questions?
Any questions this time? Okay, thank you. This
Yes.
time, okay, we do have a question. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. Quick question. Back to, there was a screen that you had regarding monies that were allocated for overnight homelessness. Do you have a listing of those individuals that received those funds, or is that just allocated for future use?
Homeless persons overnight shelter,
Yes.
those are the funds.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
The 336 persons, those are the individuals that actually had stayed in the shelter.
Okay.
Those funds are actually allocated to the shelter through our ESG program. So they are actually funds that we have subcontracted with one of our subrecipients.
Okay. So right now, we only have one shelter, and correct me if I'm wrong, that those funds would help individuals that are homeless that need overnight staying, correct?
We have two shelters that we actually have a contract with. One is with a shelter, and the other is actually with the domestic violence shelter.
Okay.
So we have two shelters that we actually have contracts with.
Do you mind sharing who they are?
Sure. Salvation Army
Okay,
and the Care Center.
okay. Thank you so much.
Other questions? Thank you. If not, I'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Are there speakers?
There are, excuse me, there are no speakers.
No speakers. Okay, I'll close the public hearing. Okay, that's, all we need to do is receive that report, so there's no action to be taken. Before I move on to items of business, I'd like to recognize some guests that we have tonight. We have City Councilman Kirk Devier. Wave your hand, Kirk. Okay, and Rick, I believe you had a guest, didn't you?
Yes, sir. Edward Cook, a Boy Scout who's working on his citizenship in the community merit badge, attend the meeting.
Okay, and let me know if there's anything I need to sign. I'll be glad to do that. I wasn't talking to Kirk. I was talking to the Boy Scouts. We'll sign something for him later. Okay, item 4, Ms. Cannon.
Yes, sir. Item number 4 is consideration of a resolution to support the construction of a minor league baseball stadium with limited contributions from increased ad valorem tax revenues. As you know, the City of Fayetteville commissioned a baseball stadium feasibility study in early of 2016 to assess the market and financial feasibility of a proposed minor league baseball stadium. The report concluded that the ballpark would have a positive economic impact through increased economic development, attracting and retaining businesses, national exposure, civic and community pride, and an improved quality of life. Based upon this report, the city executed a letter of intent and subsequently a non-binding memorandum of understanding with the Houston Astros to construct this new baseball stadium. The city is also working with developers to generate 45 to 60 million in private investment at and around the former Prince Charles Hotel. A key to advancing this project was identification of an acceptable financing model to construct the baseball stadium based on a budget for the stadium of $33 million established by the Fayetteville City Council. On September 12th, the Fayetteville City Council approved the financing model and has asked for the Board of Commissioners to consider contributing to this project through the creation of a tax increment financing district through an interlocal agreement. This evening in your package you have a proposed resolution, and I want to share just a few tenets of the resolution with you this evening. And basically there's 2 steps to this resolution. The first one would be to authorize the county manager to work with the city manager and the director of the Public Works Commission to develop an amendment to the existing interlocal agreement between the City of Fayetteville, Cumberland County, and the Fayetteville Public Works Commission. With this memorandum of understanding is related to the funding and development of the Franklin Street parking garage. That's step 1. The step 2 would be that if we can negotiate a satisfactory amendment to that existing interlocal agreement, the county manager is also authorized to work with the city manager to develop a second interlocal agreement specifically related to the construction of the baseball stadium and under the following guidelines. The first would be the agreement would be between the City of Fayetteville and Cumberland County. 2, increased tax values would be based upon the values in a designated project area as of the execution date of the new interlocal agreement. And finally, the county will contribute 100% of the increased revenue from ad valorem collections on this designated area for the first 5 fiscal years beginning upon completion of the ballpark, and then 75% of the increased revenue for the 15 fiscal years following, provided that we have agreement with the Cumberland County Board of Education. As you know, we share ad valorem tax with them under our funding agreement. So this was a joint item that was prepared mainly by the county attorney and myself, and so I'd like to ask Mr. Moorfield if he has anything else to add.
I think you've covered it fully.
Okay. So this evening, Commissioners, the recommendation is to approve this resolution.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation, you've read the items in your packet. Do we have a motion at this time to support to support the resolution?
So move.
Okay, moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yes, sir, I have one question.
Okay. Mr. Edge?
Ms. Cannon, have you had any kind of discussion with the Board of Education yet over their funds?
Yes, sir. Had a discussion first with the superintendent, and then last Friday, the chairman and I met with the superintendent and the chairman of the Board of Education, and we believe that the Board of Education will support this.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Unanimous.
Item number 5, Mr. Chairman, is nominations to boards and committees.
Okay, the first nomination is to the Cumberland County Workforce Development Board, and I believe I see Ms. Council.
I'm ready. To nominate Kent Listo, Marty Caton, and Isabella Efron.
Okay, are there further nominations for these 3 vacancies? If not, we'll close the nominations. And that's all the nominations that we have, and at this time, the item 6 is the appointments to boards and committees. Mr. Vice Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I'll take all of those at one time, as we have an equal number of people nominated as to, unless someone has somebody want to nominate from the floor. Animal Control Board, 1 vacancy, Michelle Harris. Board of Adjustment, Robert E. Davis, that's a reappointment. The Cumberland County Home and Community Care Block Grant Committee, Susan Hesnard, Rebecca Campbell, Diane Townsend, Edna Cogdale. Aging Service Provider under that Cumberland County Home and Community, Raymond Johnson. Doris Snyder, she's for reappointment. Helen Godwin, and the elected official Francis Collier. The Cumberland County Juvenile Crime Prevention Council, the nominees, the member of the faith community, Augustus Newman. The business community, Jonathan Warren, at-large representative Deborah Rawson, Rebecca Campbell, Denise Lucas, Dency Lucas, Crystal Bennett, thank you. United Way, or the nonprofit, Rebecca Beck, and substance abuse professional Louis Leak. And for the last one, Mid Carolina Aging Council, 2 vacancies, the volunteers, Susan Hestar and Diane Townsend. I would move for their appointment, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, do I have a second? Second. Moved and seconded for the appointments. Any discussion? All in favor?
Unanimous.
Item number 7, Mr. Chairman, is a closed session for economic development pursuant to North Carolina General Statutes 143, 318, 11A4.
Okay, is there a motion to go into closed session?
I so moved.
Is there a second?
Second that.
Moved and seconded. Discussion, all in favor?
Unanimous.
Okay, Board of Commissioners will now go into closed session.
everyone, and welcome to Cumberland Matters. Our show features topics of interest to Cumberland County residents. Today we'll learn how the public school system and law enforcement work together to keep children safe in school zones and on school buses. A fall rabies clinic offers the opportunity to protect your pet's health with convenient, low-cost rabies vaccinations. The Cumberland County Public Library will hold a job fair on September 21st at Headquarters Library. This will be an opportunity for hundreds of job seekers to connect with potential employers. A group of children recently earned Green Thumbs thanks to the Junior Master Gardener Summer Camp offered through Cooperative Extension.
Hi, I'm Diane Grumelot. I'm the Director of Transportation for Cumberland County Schools. And we have hundreds of buses on the road every day transporting thousands of children to the 86 schools in Cumberland County. And safety is our top priority. Cumberland County Schools has 440 buses traveling daily to take students to 86 schools. We have about 26,000 children that ride the school buses. We travel about the circumference of the earth on a daily basis, which is about 25,000 miles. All of the school buses in Cumberland County have GPSs on them, so at any moment we know where a bus is. If they're in a fender bender or they have a breakdown, we can get our mechanics to them very quickly. We can help the driver if they're not sure where to go. We can tell them exactly where to turn. We also have cameras on all of our buses, and we're able to view those cameras, see what's happening on a bus. We have 4 cameras available, and one looks out the front of the window, so we're able to see what's happening on the road. They're used in accidents so that we can see what happened. There's also a camera that goes out the stairwell so we can see when children are loading and how that's taking place. We also have 2 cameras that are situated throughout the bus to see what's happening there. Cumberland County Schools has over 600 bus drivers, because some of our bus drivers drive a morning route and some drive an afternoon. So we have quite a few drivers that we train. We have training at the beginning of the school year and throughout the year as things come up that we also address. The rules changed in January of 2016. There was a new law in place that drivers now needed to use hand signals to help the children cross the road. If it's a right-hand stop, children just get on when the bus stops, the red lights are flashing. But when students are on the left-hand side of the road, there are now hand signals, like I said, to help the children cross, because a lot of times they'll have earbuds in or they're not paying attention. And so we want to make sure the students are stopping, looking both ways before they cross the street, just like they do with normal walking procedures. But when a driver comes to a stop and the yellow lights have been on, the red lights then turn on to say the stop is happening. The swing arm comes out and the stop sign comes out. Then traffic is all supposed to stop. The driver will then put their hand up in the left window and to tell all the children just to wait. So the driver has a better vantage point. They're up higher. So when they see that all the traffic has stopped, then they give the children a thumbs up and then point their finger in the direction that the children are supposed to walk to cross the street. And then in the afternoon, they do the same thing when a child's supposed to cross. They will do it with the other hand. Students are instructed in bus safety at least 2 times a year. We have to have an emergency evacuation plan, and the students practice that 1 time the first semester and 1 time the second semester. And then all students participate in that, just not bus riders, because a student could ride a bus for a field trip or a sporting event, and so all students are put through the drill. So drivers show them how to exit the bus if there was a fire or something in the front of the bus, how to get off the back of the bus, how to orderly evacuate, not everybody just get up and run. So we practice that twice a year. And then throughout the year, as new safety tips come up, or we see that there's a same type of incident happening on a bus, a driver will then take the time to talk to students about it then too. As I said earlier, buses do the circumference of the earth every day, so they're traveling about 25,000 miles. We have to fuel all those buses, which is done on a couple times a week basis. We get 7,500 gallons of fuel every other day, which equates to about 816,000 gallons of fuel a year. The most important message we want to get out to the public is stop for that big yellow bus. We go out to the elementary schools at the beginning of the school year and talk about bus safety. And we take a little robotic bus named Buster. And we teach the children that they have to stop and look both ways before they cross the street and make sure that cars are stopping. And we have numerous occasions where vehicles just run that stop arm and run the flashing lights. So we really need the public to be aware of that, especially, like I said, we'll have 440 buses on the road on a daily basis. I know people are late to work and they want to get there quickly, but they need to stop. We've even had incidences around the state, not just Fayetteville, where people have even passed the bus on the right-hand side where students are waiting for a bus. So we really need to make the public aware to stop for that school bus.
I'm Senior Sergeant Demetrio Perez, Cumberland County Sheriff's Office, and I'm here to send a message to the parents and the children that they need to practice safety while on the buses or while approaching the buses. All too often, children do not pay attention as they're going up to the buses, and that could be it could be a perilous situation for children. Some folks, some motorists are out there rushing to get to work and they're not paying attention. They're not cognizant of the area that they're in. They might be speeding. They might be obstructing traffic by looking at their cell phones, not really paying attention to their surroundings. And we're asking the children, we're asking the motorists to please be cognizant of the area that you're in. Mind the speed. Depending on where you are in Fayetteville, some areas are 35 miles an hour. Most of them are 25. We know that as responsible motorists, 35 miles an hour really is not conducive in a school zone. So we're asking motorists to be cognizant of that. Watch your speed, watch out for the children. Most of the school zones, they're posted with 25 miles an hour. Depending on what area you are in Fayetteville, some of them are 35 miles an hour. Most of the schools in Cumberland County will have a crossing guard. Crossing guard monitors the safety of the children, getting them safely across the street. Be on the lookout for the crossing guards. They wear a white shirt, they have a big old stop sign, and they're equipped with a whistle. We would advise that when you get into a school zone, turn down your music. Open your windows if you have to. Watch out for the crossing guard. Obey the crossing guard. If they stick out that stop sign, that means to stop. And be diligent. Watch as the children cross safely across the street, and then proceed if the bus driver gives you the prompt to go ahead with your direction or in your direction. Drivers, once you enter a school zone, slow down. Even if it's posted 25, slow down. Watch for the buses that might be ahead of you. Look for the flashing lights. Look for that arm that comes out, the control arm. Make sure that you stop behind the bus. Watch as the children get on the bus, sit down, wait for the arm.
Sticks in my craw a little bit. Anyway, sticks a lot of the craw. All right. For a motion to come out of closed session.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Come out of closed session. All in favor?
Unanimous.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, before we finish, I guess I would ask that, I think it's Russ is leaving when?
The September 30th is his last day.
That you may send a letter on behalf of this board thanking him for his time that he's been here and,
Okay.
and what he's done for economic development in Cumberland County. If no one has any objection to that.
By consensus, everybody all right?
Here,
Okay with
here.
that? Okay. All right, is there a motion to adjourn? Moved and seconded. Everybody in favor, stand up.
And leave.
Mr.
That's
Andrews, have it?
unanimous.
You know what I did? My pen stopped right on signing